Why does Russia's insistence on peace talks have experts divided? The world is watching closely as Moscow puts forward its conditions for ending the war in Ukraine, but the motives behind these demands are hotly debated. Some see a genuine attempt at negotiation, while others suspect a calculated move to stall for time and strengthen Russia's position. Let's break it down. To understand the controversy, we need to look at the specifics of what Russia is asking for and why these points are so contentious among diplomats and analysts alike. Moscow's demands are quite clear, at least on paper. The Russian government has laid out a series of non-negotiable points that it claims are essential for peace, but critics argue these are designed to be unacceptable to Ukraine and its allies. They question Ukrainian President Zelenskyy's legitimacy, require Ukraine to cede control of regions like Donetsk and Luhansk, and demand that Kyiv recognize Russian authority over these territories. For Ukraine, these are not just political concessions, they strike at the heart of national sovereignty and identity. And that's not all. Russia insists Ukraine must not join NATO, effectively blocking its path to Western integration and security guarantees. This demand is seen by many as an attempt to keep Ukraine within Russia's sphere of influence and limit Western involvement in the region. Additionally, Russia wants to control the negotiation agenda and rejects any European troops in Ukraine. This would give Moscow significant leverage over the process and limit the role of outside mediators, raising concerns about the fairness and transparency of any talks. On one hand, critics argue these demands are pretext to delay meaningful talks. They point to Russia's history of using negotiations as a smokescreen while consolidating territorial gains and preparing for further military action. They see the step-by-step approach as a tactic to buy time and secure battlefield gains. Each pause in fighting, they argue, allows Russia to regroup, resupply, and strengthen its hold on occupied areas. Analysts suggest it's a strategy to turn Ukraine into a vassal state, stripping it of real independence and forcing it to accept Russian dominance in exchange for a fragile peace. With peace only on terms of Ukrainian capitulation, critics warn that accepting these demands could set a dangerous precedent for international law and the sovereignty of smaller nations. However, there is a potential starting framework for negotiations. Some diplomats believe that even tough demands can serve as a basis for dialogue if both sides are willing to compromise and build trust over time. Despite its hardline stance, Russia hasn't entirely ruled out a summit. The door to diplomacy remains open, even if only slightly, and the international community is watching for any sign of movement. The US, under President Trump, is actively mediating a potential trilateral summit involving Trump, Putin, and Zelenskyy. Such a meeting could be a turning point, offering a rare chance for direct dialogue at the highest level. European allies might offer security commitments, providing Ukraine with some assurances, even if NATO membership remains off the table for now. These guarantees could help bridge the gap between Russian demands and Ukrainian security needs. And Zelenskyy may consider temporary Russian control without legal recognition of annexation as a possible compromise to keep negotiations alive. This would be a difficult and controversial step, but some argue it could prevent further bloodshed while a longer-term solution is sought. So, are Russia's demands simply obstacles, or could they pave the way for genuine talks? The answer is far from simple, and much depends on the willingness of all parties to engage in good faith and make difficult compromises. The answer lies in whether these conditions can be the foundation for meaningful dialogue, or if they will just prolong the conflict. The stakes are high, not just for Ukraine and Russia, but for the entire international order. Only time will tell if these talks mark the beginning of a path to peace, or if they are just another chapter in a long and bitter conflict.